Someone at work today said that I give off dad energy with this mustache and this shirt, and it's not until this very moment that I see what they are talking about. What's up, babes? Another One Piece chapter. I believe we don't have a break next week either. Um, Not the most exciting chapter, but definitely a chapter we could get filled in on a lot, I suppose. Very much looking like Bonnie's mom, very much so. It's strange to see Kuma with functioning normal eyes. It's weird. I'm like, Kuma? With his whole head too? Just like, Kuma's everything alright? With the emotion too, he doesn't have a lot. He's mainly a kind, gentle giant, as we kind of assumed, right? We kind of knew that that's how he was going to be since the moment we saw him. He's a softie. He's a big old softie. Um, who Bonnie is interesting. I also researched, I'll get into the chapter, but basically, we learned some stuff for sure. We see Kuma taking away the pain of the old people, and him just being the nicest person ever. Just, just like, soul of the earth. Like, beautiful man, super nice, helping out the elderly, helping out everybody. Turns out the king on, what the fuck is the name of the island? What is this? Sorbet. Yeah. Of the Sorbet Kingdom's just a giant jackass. Um, which seems like pretty normal, pretty on point. I feel like we've seen him at the Reverie. I believe that we have. Was he the guy in charge? I'm not sure. I didn't really go back and check. It's kind of a minor detail, but definitely something. Oda, as he comes to the end of the story, is starting to just connect more dots just because. It just seems like he's like, well, I can connect these dots. And it makes the world seem more fleshed out, even though it's not really. But I'll take it. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. And we're kind of seeing what's going on. Everybody leaves. Kuma just with the biggest heart in the galaxy, man. If I told you this flashback was gonna hit in the feels, then it is. And I don't even think it's gotten to like where it's truly gonna hurt, but we'll see. But a hell of a beginning to it. Him as a teenager, he's taking on all the pain. He hits him with the Zoro. He is tough. Now, the pain that he takes on is, I would say, comparable. Probably not. It's comparable. It's kind of tough to gauge pain. And it's funny because you think pain is subjective, but no, it's not. He's showing you that it is not subjective, that it's very objective, and he's the object. But he's a Buccaneer man. And as a Buccaneer man, he's able to take that on. But the panel of him in pain is truly gut-wrenching. You can see that he is in a lot of pain. You can see Guinea is like, aw, babe, like, are you going to be all right? And then when Kuma's 22, she's like, are we going to get married? And he changes the subject. He's like, some of these old ladies, I don't know. I don't know, Guinea. And it's funny because everybody's horny for Guinea except Kuma. Kuma's like, I don't really have time for that, but hey, fair enough. Cool. He is always trying to help the old people. The old people are being forced to pay tribute to the Celestial Dragons. Obviously, they're not able to do that because they were cut off by the jackass king. But the man's just trying to make a living. He's just trying to make a living. Speaking of making a living, Kuma is the pastor. We always kind of knew he was religious, but he's in there. And this chapter is just, it seems like a filler chapter when we're going chapter to chapter when we saw fucking Kaido just get his fucking dome rocked and then go to a chapter like this, which is very more low-key. It's still good. It's still good of what we're seeing here, what we're learning about of this island and kind of more of the grossness of the world and the grossness that's being encouraged, that's being fostered by the Celestial Dragons as a whole. And I think we're getting to learn all about this because as it comes to an end, the larger piece is going to be about the Celestial Dragons, the secrets behind everything going on there, Imu-sama and all of that. And Kuma has been placed where he was even way back when, because Oda is in fact Goda, because he was to explain this part. Kuma stands up for him and gets put in jail. I think he just got arrested because at some point he didn't want to even do the damage. I don't think anyone there is like taking him out. They try to rescue him, so they all get put in jail. He's pissed. He's very mad about the overall bigotry and hate. And he's like, why is this just like shitty? And like his kind heart can't even fathom that. And when that happens, who comes to the rescue but Guinea's older brother? Eva-sama, that looks the exact same. That looks literally, I was like, I wonder if Eva's gonna look any different. No different. Not even a little bit different. Like, Eva, I think at this point would be upper 20s, something like that. Dragon's in there as well. Dragon in these last couple, I guess just in this chapter mainly, he doesn't look like Luffy or Garp at all. Like at all. Like I'm like, who is that guy? We're seeing some different people. We saw somebody with Sabo's hat. A lot of these people are probably presumed dead. I think that they've definitely gone through their hard version of events, and I think that that's something that we're going to start to see here, that we're going to learn more about Dragon. But I think kind of like the God Valley, we're not going to get everything that we want, but as long as we expect that, it shouldn't be too bad. Kuma does truly rely on Dragon. He believes in him from the get-go. I mean, he's a very trusting and kind soul, but he believes in him. Dragon speaks very profoundly, and he trusts him. Kuma revisits his like family and homeland, and he like gives out all the stuff protecting them. This is what's interesting. Guinea then now is the Eastern Command. She's the revolutionary captain of the Eastern people, right? East. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Bello Betty is the commander, and I think she's just a captain. So she's just somebody in the military, but they captured her, and I think that they recognize her from being a slave, and they've probably done their research. Whatever government official kidnapped her, because they want Kuma. They need the Buccaneer genealogy to be researched on, and that's how him and Vegapunk are going to kind of come into play. I think that's something we're probably going to see next chapter, is the agreement that he makes to free Guinea. And the sad part about having a kind heart is he's going to be played like a fiddle, and that's just something that I can almost is guaranteed just about. I think that he's just way too kind-hearted. He's going to be put in a position to have to do that, and I don't know who kidnapped Guinea. I don't think it's super important, but it could be. It could be. They don't have to be that strong. I mean, considering they're just taking out a captain. So it really could be a lot of people, but that could come into play in Egghead. That could come into play later down the line for Bonnie. I don't know. I don't think that that's too big of a deal, but it's always curious. Whenever you see a footstep, whenever you see a silhouette, you always kind of want to know who the fuck that is. Pretty low-key chapter. They were still in Baltigo 15 years ago, I think it is, 14 years ago. She's been captured. No break next week. Pretty low-key, but we're kind of seeing everything that starts to make Kuma, and probably make Bonnie. The fact that it's 14 years ago, last takeaway, I don't think that they've done anything yet, and I think that Bonnie hasn't even been born yet. So Bonnie's probably like 12, dude. She's probably not old at all. They probably had a kid after the deal was made and she was rescued. But Guinea probably died. But we just don't know how. We don't know the circumstance. We don't know anything. So we'll see. I mean, they could be alive. I don't know. It's tough to say. I would assume that they're dead, but they have to give birth because I'm pretty sure that's Bonnie's mom. And we'll just have to wait and see. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you on the flippity. Adiosa.